Alright, we are back with an update to Simic Midrange. I suppose this can be classified as Simic Flash with all the Flash creatures, and been using it to climb up the ranks, so wanted to share the list with you. Simic Flash, if it's been good once, it's probably can be good again. Let's take a look at the basis of the deck. So we have a blue-green strategy, and the plan is to just jam a really good finisher really early with your ramping creatures and have enough disruption to hold off your opponent before you kill them or answer any threats that happen. So our finishers, we'll start off with Stoic Sphinx, 5/3 Flash Flyer, has hexproof as long as you haven't cast a spell. So if you get this out turn 3 with your ramp, then that can be a pretty quick clock, or it can also be a flying finisher that needs to be dealt with quickly. We also have the Colossal Rattleworm, a fantastic crap rare. It has flash if you control a desert, so hopefully you can draw one of your 6 deserts in your first 4 turns to give it flash. It has a trample, so this flashes out, usually blocks something and kills it, or at the end of your opponent's turn comes in and then beats for 6 with trampling over everything in play. You can also use it to exile a card from your graveyard, or exile it from your graveyard, get a desert, and put it onto the battlefield, so a little bit of extra utility there. And then we have our Enduring Curiosity, the 4/3 Flash, that lets whenever your creatures connect to deal combat damage, you draw a card. So we have a flash threat, also draws you cards. Not terrible. Speaking of drawing cards, the deck was gifted with Surrak Elusive Hunter, a 4/3 creature that can't be countered. Also has trample, can come down on turn 2 with your ramp, and then also whenever a creature you control becomes target of a spell or ability, you get another bonus card. So those are our big threats, capping out at 4 mana. As we alluded to, Llanowar Elves, your mana dork. We're rocking the Singleton Intrepid Stable Master as a 5th mana dork. Has some utility as having reach, so it can block the bat that comes into play, Dark Cavern bat person, and also can ramp you into your turn 3 finisher. We also have, for utility, Floodpits Drowner, a 2/1 flash vigilance. It's a way to tap down a blocker for that extra swingy damage and for the win. It can also be removal for creatures because it also has that shuffle the creature with a stun counter into the deck. We also have Fairy Mastermind, so this will cycle out of the deck pretty soon, but the rest of the deck is pretty well set to survive the rotation. We'll see if anything will replace it. I'm thinking there are options available, but this also allows you to draw some extra cards and has evasion, flying in for that extra damage consistently. And so we have our disruption. We have bounce off, just return a creature or a vehicle to its owner's hands, so you can out-tempo your opponents by bouncing their blockers while you can continue to play your threats. You can also save your own creatures, so that's why you're not seeing Into the Flood Maw, because that has to target an opponent's creature. We also have Essence Scatter, just to counter a threat to keep you alive, pretty efficient removal. And then we also have Spectral Denial. This spell gets better when you have your finishers in play because it can cost, each of those finishers can reduce the cost by 1. And that is fun. Otherwise it's just a generic X counter spell, which is generally playable as well in Standard. So that is the business spells. We alluded to we have some desert, so Lush Oasis, your blue-green land that deals damage to your opponent when it enters. We also have the sneaky Sandstorm Verge, which cannot make your creature target creature an opponent controls can't block, so you can also sneak through some extra damage that way. Maybe that's the damage you need to win. We're also rocking Blast Zone as removal on the lands, so this can be useful in knocking out those low mana cost threats, or late game you can pay the mana to add the charge counters and maybe hit a higher threat. And it can destroy each non-land permanent equal to the number of charge counters on it when it blows up. And then we have our Restless Vinestalk, a high-costed man land, but it also brings some significant power because it's a 5/5 creature that has trample, and it also buffs a target creature you control to a base power toughness 3/3. The rest of the deck, not rocket science. We have 1 island, 2 forests, hoping to get a green mana for turn 1 Llanowar Elves, 4 Botanical Sanctums, and then 4 YAAV Coast. What is going on in the sideboard? So we have Pick Your Poison, a 1 mana efficient removal modal spell. Hits a flying creature like a dragon or a bat. If your opponent has 1, they don't have much of a selection to choose from. It can hit artifacts and enchantments as well. Agatha's Soul Cauldron is bonus graveyard removal. Since Vivi is a deck in Standard, might as well try to remove it yourself and get the bonus from it. Otherwise, we're rocking the Scavenging Ooze in the sideboard. This could become main board post-rotation, but we have a creature that has Graveyard Hate, gains you life and gets bigger and becomes a threat. Ephira's Dispersal is our sideboard for against aggressive decks that want to attack you. Very cheap removal at the cost of 1 blue, and it also lets you Surveil too. This will leave with the rotation, but there's probably Unsummon can be in its place. We also have Etherize, a fantastic way to stop your opponent from winning a game or slowing them down considerably. Return all their attackers to their hand. And then lastly, we have Fade from History, currently to punish greedy Eerie decks or greedy Artifact Bay, Simulacrum Synthesizer decks. Wipe their entire board, and then consolation prize is a bear, which is a pretty good consolation prize if you ask me. And if you have a map token for some reason from a get loss, you can get a bear yourself. So that is the deck, Simic Midrange or Simic Flash, climbing up the ranks with the update here. Thanks for watching and have a good day.